Everybody, what's going on? So today in this video we are going to be talking about one of my new favorite ways of fishing. So this is a way of fishing that I have not really done a whole lot of, but here this year I have started doing it a lot more, and it is so much fun. I wish I'd done it a lot sooner because it is a ton of fun, and that is ultralight fishing. And in this video I kind of wanted to talk about my setup, what I use, the line, the lures, and the rod itself. So the rod itself is a Shakespeare micro spinning rod. It's not nothing super special. It's just a Shakespeare ultralight spinning rod. Then on this one here, I actually have a little beetle spin that I rigged up. Now the bait that you see right there on that beetle spin is actually a brand new bait that you guys have yet to see, but the fish have been seeing quite a bit of it, and so have I, because I have been catching a lot of fish on it here last night and today. I've been slaying them on it. Not that specific setup there. I just actually now started fishing the little beetle spin. I actually caught 3 monster-sized bluegill, like I'm talking hand-sized bluegill, pretty good-sized ones, on this little beetle spin here. This was my first time really throwing a beetle spin with one of my little grubs, so it looks really good and it catches fish. But the line I use a 4-pound line. I don't have the spool here, do I? No, but I have the packaging for the spool. It's Berkley Solutions Mono 4-pound line. That's what I used. That's what I use on this setup here, just because it's light line, it's light rod, light reel. Casting is a breeze, especially with this new little bait here that I'm going to talk about right now. So when I fish a tadpole, depending on which size, here's the 1.1 tadpole, green pumpkin and blue, the Florida crawl. This has been killing it. A quick little story real quick. Quick little fun fact about the tadpole. My cousins went camping this past week, and in 1 hour, they had a pack. Actually, they had 2 packs of these. They still have some, from what I understand. They still have some. And in 1 hour, 60 minutes, they caught over 150 bluegill and red ear on the green pumpkin tadpoles. Green pumpkin and blue, that color that I just showed you. They caught over 150 bluegill and red ear that are kind of mixed up together, all on the green pumpkin and blue tadpoles. Now that just blew my mind. In an hour they caught that many fish. That was pretty cool to find out. We have also the 1.1, which is a really small bait, really microscopic little bait. And then we have the newer baits, which you guys have already seen this one. This is the Green Pumpkin Docks Lure Company Leech. It's a very small, very slender bait, but it works really good. It has a really good action in the water. And then we have this guy right here. This is the new one. This is the one you guys have not seen yet. This is the bait that I caught a bunch of fish on last night. I caught a bunch of them today already. It is still daylight. I'm going to go right back out there here in a little bit and fish with it. This is the 1-inch grub. Very small grub, has a really good action when you reel it at a slow speed, has a really good action when you reel it at a fast speed as well. I love slow rolling this just on a plain jig head, but you know, I also messed with the little beetle spin a little bit, caught a couple big bluegill. Now, a little fun fact about this grub. We're going to, say fun fact a lot in this video. A little fun thing about this grub, on the very first cast, on the very first and second cast, I caught 2 over hand-sized bluegill. Now, if you guys don't really know how big my hand is, do I have something that I can really show you exactly how big my hand is? I don't, do I? There it is, there it is. I was looking for this right here. So, if any of you guys have watched like tactical bassin videos, or if you guys have seen this, that is a 1/68 S-waver compared to my hand. So, that's a really, really long bait, really big bait, and compared to my hand, it actually looks pretty darn small. If you were looking online or something and you just see this, you're thinking it's probably only like 4 inches long. You're thinking it's a very small little swim bait, but it's not. It's actually a pretty darn big swim bait. I have pretty large hands, and for a bluegill to be bigger than my hand, it takes a really good sized bluegill, and I had some bluegill that I caught yesterday and today that were so big that if I just laid them in my palm like that, you could not see my hand, and that means they're pretty big. And I caught them on that little white grub. I also was using green pumpkin grub as well, caught a few using that, but the white seems like it's really working. Another thing, so earlier today I went out there. It was middle of the day. It was actually quite hot out. I cast out that little white grub on a jig head and was just sitting there reeling it along, and all of a sudden it just stops, like dead stops. It does not reel. And I just, lift up thinking, okay, it's probably a big bluegill or something. Nope, it is a 2.5 pound bass. And I tell you what, a 2.5 pound bass on a ultralight setup with 4 pound line, it takes a minute to get that fish in. I ended up fighting it for about 1.5 minutes, thinking it's a giant, but it really wasn't. But it was still a really good sized fish to fight on something like this. So I catch that fish and I'm like, holy crap, that's the biggest bass I've caught on ultralight gear. Not the biggest fish. Obviously that 4 pound catfish I caught a while back is my biggest fish on an ultralight. But I'm freaking out, like, holy crap, this is a really nice bass. I release it and everything, take a couple pictures, release it. Earlier, just about maybe 20 minutes ago, I'm throwing that same white grub, the exact same one, on the same jig head and everything, cast it out there, reeling along, and all of a sudden, it just takes off. It just, all the slack just went out of my line. And I set the hook real quick, and it is an even bigger one, but I didn't realize it at the time. So I set the hook into this fish, and it just starts pulling. And I'm thinking, holy crap, this is a gigantic bluegill, because it was fighting almost exactly like a bluegill. Well, this fish, unlike any other bass I've ever caught, never came to the surface once. Never did. And usually bluegill do that. Around here, bluegill like to go straight down towards the deep water. Well, bass, they don't. They love to go shallow and jump and everything else. So I'm thinking, holy crap, this is a monstrous bluegill or maybe a big hybrid. Nope, it was a almost 3 pound bass. I want to say probably 2.8, 2.9. I'll say pretty close to 2.5 pounds, maybe a little over. But man, you want to talk about a fight. I fought that fish for probably around 2 minutes. Well, I started the song that was like 3 minutes long, and I was almost all the way through with it by the time I got that fish in. So yeah, that was a really fun fight on that little tiny white grub right there. If you are interested in purchasing any of the baits I just showed you, I make them here at Doc's Lure Company. If you don't know what Doc's Lure Company is, it is a lure company that I own and operate myself. If you do know what Doc's Lure Company is, a fun fact here, like I said, we're going to say that quite a bit in this video, probably the last time though. Little fun fact is every single bass I have caught this year, all of them, every single fish actually, not even just bass, every single fish, bluegill, bass, crappie, hybrid, catfish even, all of them have been on Doc's Lure Company baits. Whether that's on the back of a spinnerbait or a jig, that doesn't really matter. It's still a Doc's Lure Company bait as the trailer. It doesn't really matter about the original or the bait that's on it. It still counts because it had a Doc's Lure Company bait on it. All my other fish have just been on Doc's Lure Company baits. Sometimes I'll put them on a spinnerbait or something, but that still counts because it is a Doc's Lure Company bait, like I said. I think that's crazy considering we're already halfway through the year and I've caught tons of fish. I've probably caught close to 300 fish already, believe it or not. I catch a lot more fish than you guys get to see. If you guys are friends with me on Facebook, which I do suggest you do because I post a whole crap load of fishing pictures and new baits, people on my Facebook page will see new baits before you guys do on YouTube because it takes a little bit longer to get a video up than just posting a picture. But go and check out my Facebook page, Michael Jarrell, same profile picture as it is on YouTube. And yeah, I think that's about everything in this video. If you guys have not fished with an ultralight setup, I suggest you do. These are only 18 bucks at Walmart. Now, sure, they're not the greatest thing in the world. They're not, a $200 ultralight setup. No, 18 bucks at Walmart. You can even use the stock line. I used the stock line for a good little bit on my original one, and then I went ahead and switched over to the Berkley line. You can use the stock line. I don't really care if you do or not, but pick yourself up some of these. $18 for the rod and reel. Get yourself some little things like this, or if you want to fish with the tadpoles, take a little tiny cork. Take even like a normal size cork and cut it in half like I did with this one. Makes just a little tiny cork, and go out there and catch a lot of fish. Some of my bigger fish of the year have actually come on a little ultralight setup like this. So actually my biggest fish of the year, that catfish, came on this ultralight setup. So thank you guys for watching once again. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you have not already. Bye.